Well, good morning, everyone. I wanted to come on this morning uh, and share something with you since tomorrow is MLK Day. And I do this every year, though, and at not just in January, but throughout the year, I like to do reflections of where, not just myself, but where we as a race of people have come from. And, sometimes it just, when you reflect on things, it just, it does something to your heart. It just touches your heart. But to me, it's like God doesn't want us to get so far away to see how he has blessed us over the years. And I think sometimes we forget that. We forget that. We get so caught up in the moments, we forget where God really brought us from, how far he really brought us. And what I do when I want to reflect is I go back and look at different civil rights movement movies, and just to see how it wasn't just blacks alone. It was whites who got in there as the Quakers and other people who got in there through the years to help blacks to move forward, to be able to get civil rights, to continue to try and end segregation, and how there were those out there who never wanted the hatred to go away against blacks, African Americans. At that time, they called us niggers and Negroes. And that's why I used the subject title this morning of Never Again. Because in looking at the various movies, they all at some point said, never again. I believe that we forget about the never again, because to keep that in the front of you will always help you to grow, not only help you to grow, but to reflect on the ancestors that fought for us. But for some reason, this is one of the reasons why I don't like this reality TV stuff. I believe it took so much away from us as a people. It took so much away. And I know there are people who will see this video and say, oh, reality TV didn't do nothing. It didn't hurt nobody. But to me, I'm just saying, me. I believe it hurt us a lot, because we began to live for the money and not the future. Civil rights was about the future of America. And people got in the fight. And it wasn't just black people. It was white people too that got in the fight. Some of the movies I'm going to mention right quick that I've looked at, and I hope that some of you will look at these movies. And I know the characters that play in these movies, they give it all that they got. See, it takes energy to play the roles in such a time as civil rights. And to watch these characters play out the lives of many who are gone now, it just touches my heart. People like Cicely Tyson, Whoopi Goldberg, James Earl Jones. I mean, like a lot of movies, or these movies just, they really, really touch your heart. And it reminds you to say, never again. Because I don't know if y'all are following this upcoming election for 2024. That bothers me. I'm going to tell you why it bothers me. Because I see a lot of people who are not saying never again. They're not saying it. And right before our eyes, we are on the verge of losing democracy. We're on the verge of that. And your democracy and my democracy is at stake. The reason why it's at stake, because you have someone who wants to go in there and promises that if he gets in there, there's going to be a lot of things turned around and taken away. And now we won't have democracy. We'll go back into a time where you're being stripped of your rights. If you think that they're playing, after 50 years, they took away a woman's right to choose what she does with her body. And that's from the highest level. The Supreme Court did that. Because look who's in charge at the Supreme Court level. So if you put a person back in there, guess what's going to happen? They're going to try to take you back. Because power does not concede on its own. You have to get angry enough to say, I'm not going back. Never again. Never again. Because people will try to make you feel like you're wrong for thinking like you think, for believing in what you believe in. Don't you never think that there aren't still people out there who don't want things to change, who don't want to take things back. They still out there. I know this morning's talk is a little different from what I generally come on and share with you in the mornings. But tomorrow, there'll be lots of celebrations all over the place for MLK Day. And you have to speak out what's on your heart. You have to live like never again will I go back and take those things that my ancestors fought for. There's going to be people then didn't believe in the civil rights movement, right? There's some people today. There's some people today who don't believe in what you believe in. But you have to say to yourself, never again. And it doesn't have to pertain to just civil rights. It's some things that you went through in life that you came out of by the grace of God. By the grace of God, you came out. And when you look back on that thing, you say, never again. I'll never let someone talk down to me again. I'll never let someone spit in my face again. I'll never let someone make me feel less than again. I'll never do that again. I'll never let anyone take my dignity from me. Never again. Think on those things in your life that you have been through, that you went through, and you say never again. Never again will I let anyone make me feel less than who I really am. The things that I fight for, never again. So what I'm saying to you too, don't get upset with people when they don't understand you. People on this platform say a lot of ugly things to me. On this platform, I never seen a day in my life. They don't know me, I don't know them. And my goal is just to say words of inspiration, give out information, just things that I feel like someone can help them to keep hanging in there to make that next step. And on this platform, and when I transfer things over, every video that you see here is also on my YouTube channel, Electra James Inspirational Talks. And some people go on my YouTube channel and they write these long responses. Not everybody, every now and then. And it's ugly. And it's mean-spirited. And you know what? If I paid any attention, I would let it take me down. I would let it stop me. No. I got in my mind. That used to would make me do that when I was younger. But not now. No. Never again. Will I let the words of somebody else who can't see through my eyes, never again will you take me down and make me turn away from the gift that God has given me just because it's not comfortable for your ears. Because every time I think about, they took my grandfather down in Columbia, Mississippi, my great-grandfather, because they wanted his land. My grandfather went to look for my great-grandfather. And you know where they found him? He was missing for a few days. They had not only hung him in a tree, but they had cut his body in half. Can you imagine finding your father like that? My grandfather found his father like that down in Mississippi. But never again. Never shall I forget that. There's some ancestors in your family. In your family. That you should reflect back on and say never again. I don't care about all this foolishness that takes place on social media with this. It's just a lot of foolishness. Nothing making sense. People cutting each other down and just saying the most meanest things and the most ugliest things about people that they can. And spreading ugliness and meanness and just, it's just sad. But when you going to talk about something that's really can change the minds and the hearts of somebody else for the better. For the better. Because the main thing when you say never again, that means that what you're saying is I can never give up. I won't never give up. And when I'm done fighting, my grandkids will fight. But they won't have to fight for what you had to fight for because you already fought for that. You already done that. You got to look at the future. What do you want for the future? What are you going to leave behind? What are you? That's an individual thing. What are you going to leave behind? For those who are coming up behind you in your family. What are you fighting for right now? I'm talking right now. Is it foolishness? Is it some rights? What are you fighting for right now? You got to make a choice. Because it's not over. Because there's always going to be those who don't want change. In 2024, there are a lot of people out there who are still thinking like the South. And I live in the South, the deep South, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, the deep South, just to name a few. I'm down here in Texas, that don't want change. They're upset about change. There are people who celebrate, and it's sad to say, there are women who celebrated when they reversed Roe versus Wade. And you know what? They're not done. They want to take away more of your civil rights. And when they took away Roe versus Wade, now they're trying to fix it to where they got something going on in Florida. They're trying to even lessen the time frame in which a woman can have an abortion. But it's happening all over. Just happening right here in Texas. A woman in a case. You try to convict women for the rights that they have to their own body, that the Supreme Court sat there and took away. So guess what? First they come after the women. Then they'll start coming after the children. Then they'll start coming after not just the blacks. They'll start coming after the issues that surround whites, the issues that surround Hispanics, the issues that surround Asians. See, it won't stop. They just got started. But if you don't get this mindset of never again, and I'm talking about quick, fast, and in a hurry, you're going to wake up one morning and wonder what happened. I'm glad that the civil rights movement happened. And I'm glad for the Quakers and all of those who helped slaves to escape. I'm glad about that. I think about that. We all should. I'm excited about the white men and the white women who got in the fight with the blacks. I'm excited about that. I keep that close in my heart. And you should too. Those 3 young men down in Mississippi that lost their lives for trying to get people registered to vote. And they buried them out in a field for simply wanting to get people to vote, the right to vote. And there are people right now who won't even go vote. And when they do go vote, they vote against their own interests. I don't tell people how to vote. But you should vote for change, for the better, for everybody. Everybody. And if you think for 1 second that they won't try to take you back, you better think again. People, we better get serious. I feel like we playing too much. That's just me. We are allowing these things of social media and other things that surround us to take us away from the main thing. The main issues in life. Our fight. I will fight for what is real. I will fight for democracy. Right now, they still got people out there, foots on the ground, all over the United States, trying to get people to register to vote. Right now. And people saying, oh, I don't get caught up in that. You're going to wake up and wonder what happened. Because one of these days, I'm going to pass on. A lot of people going to pass on. Whose torch have you lit? Whose life have you impacted to keep fighting no matter what? That's an individual thing. So as you celebrating tomorrow, those who will celebrate tomorrow, MLK Day, don't forget to reflect. People died for you. People died for me. A lot of blood was shed. Not just by black people, by white people too, that got in there to help to make the difference. Never again. Rings in my head all the time. Never again will you separate us. Never again. Will you hang us from trees? Never again. Will you set our bodies on fire and make our people watch? Never again. That's what I have to keep in our heads. That's why I don't buy into the foolishness of reality TV shows. I don't. Because it takes away a lot of who we are and where we come from. What we've come out of. And where many are trying to take you back to. Democracy is at stake right now. Believe it or not. Before I get off of here, I promised I was going to share some of the movies I watched with you guys. When you get a chance, just when you get a chance, if you would like, I'm not saying you have to kind of look at some of these movies. I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget to share. Moses, that's the story about Harriet Tubman. The Vernon Johns story about a Baptist pastor down in, he was down in Montgomery, Alabama. There's also the story of Deacons of Defense, and it was a situation that took place down in Louisiana. The Long Walk Home, that's with Whoopi Goldberg is playing in that movie. Son of the South. That's a very good movie that I looked at on yesterday. Things again was happening down in the South, Alabama, Mississippi. And then the Fannie Kimball story and how she was helping. She was an actress up north, but she went down south because of who she married. She went down south to help with her husband, and then she didn't have the reality of slavery until she went with her husband, traveled with her husband and her two daughters, young daughters, and she just fought. She continued to fight. Way after she ended up getting a divorce from her husband. Her name is Fannie Kimball. FANNYKEMBLE. So that story is out there. There's a lot of stories out there. But I'm just saying, you don't have to. But that's just something that I do to reflect and to remember. There's a fight out here. There'll forever be a fight out here in America for what's right. Either you're going to get in the fight or you're going to turn your back and turn your face to the wall. See, I don't want to be bothered. But just remember this. Whether you get in the fight or not, change still has to happen. And whatever happens, I sure would not be the one that say I sat on the sideline. I did not do a thing. Speak what's in your heart. Do what's right. Always. Don't let people turn you around. Don't let people make you feel like you wrong for standing up for what's right. And that's anything in life, even in your individual life. Don't let nobody tarnish what you believe in and make you turn a deaf ear to what you know is right. Okay? Y'all have a wonderful day. It's cold down here to me in Texas, but stay bundled. We're supposed to get some bad weather, I think, starting tomorrow. But I want you to keep moving. I want you to be the best person that you could ever be in life. And I want you to never give up. Never, never, never give up. Stand solid on what you believe in. No matter what those who don't agree with you say, as long as you know what you're doing is right and it has a purpose behind it, keep going. Okay? You can see this video on my YouTube channel, Electra James Inspirational Talks. And there's hundreds of other videos that I've put out there. Go take a listen, only if you want to. But be encouraged to keep going. All right? Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Never again.